Morning.
Morning, how are you? You well?
I'm all right. There's a bit of a delay there.
Yeah. It's because it's afternoon. That's why.
Is it? Hey, well, that's a great start to our inaugural show or recording or whatever you might call this. Anyway, I'll start again. Good afternoon, John. How you doing?
Afternoon, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm pretty excited to be here. It's a new venture for us, isn't it? And it'd be nice to talk about what we're doing here. Do you want to have a crack at that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, both counsellors. So I'm John Warrington, and this is Danny Cottrell. We retrained as counsellors, and we've had varied careers before we were counsellors, which we'll talk about in a moment. We both met whilst working and supporting children and teenagers in residential care homes. Got along like a house on fire. And a couple of years ago, went on a break to Prague, didn't we? Bit of a break away from work. Wandering around, taking in sights of Prague. Not always alcohol fueled, but I'd never been before. Fantastic. And we joke that, we're the good guys wandering around Prague. So we're going to do these broadcasts. Going to be available in podcast form as well on SoundCloud.
Absolutely.
Twice weekly broadcasts where we talk about mental health, really. We check in with each other, check in, with yourselves. There'll be Facebook live, Zoom interactions, so you can ask questions. But yeah, it's not just talking about the general issues that are affecting people. So yeah, Danny's background. What was your background, mate? Before you began?
Well, got into it through. Well, as a musician first of all, playing the drums. If you can call a drummer a musician, there's lots of musician jokes about that. But yeah, some of them probably not appropriate. But yes, I played the drums for years and years as a professional, and then was married and had kids, and that was difficult trying to maintain that kind of traveling, sort of touring lifestyle, but having a family as well. Ended up getting divorced, had some counselling, found it useful, thought I could do that. Got very interested in that, had a sort of look around and went on a course doing like a 10-week counselling concepts course, and found it absolutely brilliant. It was really, really good in terms of my own sort of personal development. And I sort of encountered the ideas of Rogers. He's the man, Carl Rogers for me, And
Not Ted Rogers.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. I was going to try and do that, but
yeah.
And and retrained, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's a great thing to do. And I just want to sort of add about this kind of format is I think me and you, John, are both sort of keen to kind of explore some of the issues around sort of mental health and counselling and what counselling is and how that helps people, and also work some stuff out for ourselves, because it's kind of we are also sort of humans going through this kind of process of exploration and trying to make sense of, especially in today's kind of world, with the things that are going on with COVID-19 and all that, but trying to make sense of all this stuff and sort of chewing the fat a little bit, and hopefully it might help other people to have a little think about that as well. But what about you, mate? You came from a Navy background.
Yeah, so wanted to go to university, kind of not encouraged by careers advisors really, or at school, or parents who were just not in that mindset. It was get a job and study part-time. Hated that. So age of 18, joined the Navy to get away from grew up in Crewe. Nothing wrong with Crewe, but wanted to broaden my horizons, and did that for about 5 years. I had a privilege of traveling the world and spent time in the Gulf and Northern Ireland, and then left, had numerous jobs, worked as a train announcer on Crewe station.
Very nice.
Yeah. And then
Well, I want
thought,
to hear your voice. I want to hear your train announcer voice there.
yeah, so did that. And then instead of watching the 6 o'clock in the morning, the passengers eating the breakfast in first class while I freeze on the platform, I thought I want to be on the train heading to London in first class, eating my breakfast. So changed career, thought I'd work in sales, and then eventually got into publishing sales, which was lucrative, but I became burnt out because ultimately it was good for the soul, but not good. Well, it wasn't good for the soul. It was good for the bank balance, but not good for the soul.
Yeah.
I'd changed really as a person and wanted to help people as I'd been helped. So I had counselling, and eventually had counselling with somebody who I could be myself with. I could swear, I could shout, I could be angry, could let my feelings out really,
Yeah.
rather than be with a counsellor who I was once, where I felt as if I couldn't express myself properly. So I thought there's room for more counsellors that can really connect. And I think we both talked about this, that counselling often is viewed as something not accessible for people. It's always for somebody else. And for me, it's about bringing it into this century, making it accessible for everybody. And I think with these broadcasts, with these, it's showing people that counsellors, we are real people. You can use appropriate humour, you can swear in the sessions, you can be yourself, really, and we'll offer respect and understanding, and be genuine and try and walk in our client's shoes. So these are looking forward to these. Going to be twice weekly. Fantastic.
Do you think that's still a thing? Because well, I think it is. I think there's still this kind of idea that counsellors kind of hold themselves back and are just kind of a blank screen, just nod and doing the old cliched yes, all those cliches you see on sort of TV programs, and I think that's created a bad image sometimes. Or we get the chaise lounge and someone laying there and there's sort of someone writing notes and analysing, but that's completely not us, is it? It's not what we do, or not what we attempt to do, or
some people I think presume they feel, don't they, that we should have a goatee beard, Austrian accent, look like Freud, wear a caftan, have joss sticks. No offense to anyone who wears has goatee beards, caftan wearing, joss stick waving, each to their own. Just that that doesn't represent all counsellors, does it? And I think as men, I was asked when I first did the counselling course, there were 11 women on the course, and I was asked, what's brought you to counselling? I said, well, partly this. There's 11 females and there's me. And, there aren't perhaps enough men who are counsellors. And, you've been able to connect with people from all walks of life over the years as clients, from all backgrounds, and the same here. Work with Sporting Chance, so I had the privilege of working with sports people, footballers, rugby players. I've counselled, as you have, veterans, and they've connected because they want that kind of, I'm not their expert, they're their own expert, and it's a privilege to sit with them, isn't it, and hear what they've got to say, really. And people over the years have commented they like the humour, they like the fact that they can relax and engage with me, not feel as if embarrassed, because if they feel embarrassed, they're not going to talk openly about how they feel, are they? They have to feel relaxed, and that's what we both provide in sessions for clients. So
I think it's sort of it's encouraging people, isn't sort of inviting people to sort of remove that kind of facade and all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because it's quite tempting, isn't it, to people to go into counselling if the counsellor's not kind of congruent, to use a counselling word, but not being real and being open and being honest. And I think sometimes people who go for counselling can feel quite kind of shut off, or that they have to present themselves in a certain way, and they can, like you say, they can't joke, and it's all serious, and it's all and of course we deal with a lot of serious things. I mean, that's the truth, but we are us, and we are human beings, and we try and kind of develop good rapport and good relationships with people by being ourselves, don't we? And I think hopefully this is a good way to kind of demystify some of that stuff, some of people's expectations about counselling.
Yeah.
What happens? You're going, people's ideas of, because we've had counselling, and I still do go for counselling. It helps me to kind of work through some of my own sort of worries and concerns and things like that. And but it can be a strange concept if you haven't done it before. I mean, it's like, is this person going to do something to me, or? But one thing I want to get across is we don't have these magical sort of wands that makes everything instantly okay. And if I don't know something, I don't know it, and I won't try and pretend that I do have all this knowledge. I mean, I know what I know, and beyond that, I'll help people to kind of come to their own sort of way forward.
Yeah. And it's important, isn't it, that that's what we're trying to transmit, really. And I think when I started counselling, my obsession was confidentiality, and the counsellor was lovely. She said, everything remains confidential unless there's a danger to you, or to other people. And she wanted my GP's details, which she had to take, but she kind of delivered it in a way that I don't know, it just very officious and very kind of. I remember thinking at the time, this everything can be delivered differently, but she would connect with clients, and she's a wonderful trained person. She'll have the clients that kind of relate to her, and I'll have the clients that kind of relate to me, and that's how it works, isn't it? But we're going to demystify counselling, and I think it needs to be demystified, really, because there are people that aren't accessing it, that are contemplating it, and are thinking, I could do with some counselling, but maybe not for me. And we're going to smash through those barriers. We're going to.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we're going to persuade people that, and I think it sounds very sexist, but it's reality. A lot of men who particularly don't talk about how they're feeling, who could do with speaking to a counsellor, really could. Who maybe not just men, but men and women. But let's look at men who are on the cusp and think, do you know what? Yeah, I really do need to talk to somebody, make sense of how I'm feeling, but just something stops them. So if this persuades one counsellor, one client, one person to think, do you know what? Yeah, I'll give counselling a go. I'll contact. And it doesn't have to be us, of course.
I was thinking that because I mean, I think it's really good for people if they're looking for counselling. And I'm genuinely not trying to kind of persuade you to come to me or to you, John, or whatever. But it's good to check out who's out there and who you think you might get on with, because I'm not for everybody, and that's great. There are plenty. Cheers, mate. There are plenty of people, counsellors out there, aren't there? And I think it's important to find somebody who you kind of connect with, and if you don't connect with that person, it's going to be it might be a challenge. So most people offer kind of an introductory phone call or something, don't they? Just so people can speak to each other, and it might be that you get a sense that I don't know, something doesn't feel quite right, and that's all right. I mean, there's loads of horses for courses or whatever they're saying is.
Definitely. There's directory, the Counselling Directory, and Psychology Today, and the BACP, British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy. Where you can look through. People can search for counsellors, and the beauty of things now is, of course, with the lockdown. I mean, I'm finding I've got clients throughout the UK, as you have, whereby in the past it was all face-to-face work. So, for example, I just have clients, which is fantastic, from the local area, from Lancashire and South Cumbria, now Scotland, Cornwall, Northern Ireland, Midlands, London, it's Scotland. It's tremendous, really. It's opened things up, so you can really search online and try and find the counsellor that suits you. And online counselling, video counselling, it's convenient, it's secure, and confidential. And you can access counselling from the comfort of your own home. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity for people to access counselling more than they've ever done before, really. yeah,
Yeah.
make sure, search online, try and find a counsellor that you feel you can connect with. Don't just have a conversation and think, yeah, okay, I'll go for that. Work out if you feel you can connect and build that rapport. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we're going to sort of perhaps in future episodes sort of talk about some issues as well, won't we? Some things that are in the news and have some topics as well. So I think that'll be quite a nice thing to sort of talk about things that are current, things that are relevant, and perhaps people are talking about generally. So that might be quite a nice thing in future episodes. And quite looking forward to that as well. Try and make sense of those things ourselves, like we're saying, just kind of, strange times we live in, I think.
Unbelievable, very surreal, aren't they? When I feel that, okay, I really know what's going on, and we're in lockdown, and then I'll kind of forget, I'll get embroiled in work and sessions, and then I'll go to the shop, and then I find I'm queuing. Reminds me, gosh, and the roads are a bit busier now than they were, but it's places are ghost towns, aren't they? So
yeah. Have you sort of come across? Have you sort of fallen, foul of any sort of lockdown misdemeanors, like going the wrong way up the one-way aisle in the supermarket, things like that? It's just so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it very strange, and I kind of forget. I think walking around the supermarket, I'm not. All right, what else do I need? All right, I'll go that way. And it's the wrong way. Then I remember and follow the arrows, and have to walk all the way around the supermarket back to the beginning again.
It's that thing where you get to the door as well. You've got to go through the front door, and there's somebody else waiting or to come out. Yeah. And then you do that little dance thing and sort of, oh no, after you. Oh no, it's like really awkward. 2 meters.
Yeah. Yeah, giving people obviously a wide berth as you're walking in, because people are understandably frightened, aren't they, about catching, and there are key workers. I know you support through sessions. You're supporting workers at the moment, staff within the NHS and then care homes, both privileged to kind of have sessions with staff, and they're dealing right now, helping people.
Some pressure there. There's some real pressure.
Working in the intensive care units and working in the care homes, and it's but people are struggling all around, aren't they? So it'd be good to, in these sessions, over the next few months, people will have topics that we're looking at, and then you'll be able to ask questions as well out there. Bring your experience to bear, and talk about how things are for you. So it's a wonderful time. It's that interaction, between ourselves and clients and the public, really. And I think mental health, for example, there's a TV program this week on BBC One with Prince William, and talk about how football, breaking down taboos and stigma and mental health for men and women using football. But it's important that celebrities can talk about, and senior individuals in society. But it's also an opportunity for for us lay people as well to talk about, and to bring everybody in. And that's what these broadcasts will be about. So yeah.
So I think, mate, you've come across the first topic, perhaps, or one of the topics for our next episode, our next instalment. So if that's on this week, isn't it? That program on the 28th.
On the 28th, 8:05, BBC One, I think it's on.
Yeah, that'd be a nice one to have a look at, and perhaps reflect on that a little bit and see what comes up out of that, really.
Because I think these sporting figures are, very good for raising awareness. You've got boxers. Ricky Hatton was talking about his battles with depression. Again, last week, obviously Tyson Fury's talked about his difficulties. Various footballers as well over the years.
That's a huge shift there, though, isn't it? Because you've got boxers, like world champion boxers and top footballers, who it's all about being tough, isn't it? Being a boxer, but he's able to talk about real life challenges and document those things. I've not seen. I think he had a program, didn't he? Tyson Fury. I've
Yeah,
not
there's a
seen that.
documentary series about him, obviously
Document,
film.
yeah, yeah.
Need
But
to
I've read
watch
some. Yeah, yeah. I've read some of the articles that when he's been interviewed and radio
Yeah,
things, and it's just amazing, isn't it? Really, that someone's talking openly about that, about
definitely.
mental health challenges that we all face, but hopefully people can talk about them. It's a huge shift, right?
It is, and it does encourage people, doesn't it, to think, well, if they can talk about it, then we can as well. So I'm a big fan of SAS, Who Dares Wins,
Yeah,
the conventional version and the celebrity version. And, you know, I'll sit there and I'll eat my crisps watching people put themselves in peril of sailing
yeah,
down
me
a
too.
but, you know, many of the guys, the former SAS or former SBS operatives on that have written books and talked about their struggles with mental health.
Yeah,
And again, that will encourage, won't it, people, men and women, who previously would have thought, no, I can't talk about this, I must keep my feelings to myself, to actually think, no, actually. And perhaps if they can talk about how they're feeling, I can too. It gives people license. So yeah, that's one of the topics we'll be looking at.
I got some ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just I suppose we ought to wrap up, don't we? But I think it's important for me to kind of say, and I think it's for both of us probably, that we don't have all the answers, but it's nice to talk about these things, shed some light and some thoughts on our own experiences of facing challenges and how people manage but it's just opening it up, I think, for people, and because personally, I don't think there is one person who has the answer to a mental health challenge or whatever. I think it's really complex, and I don't profess to kind of I'm good at what I do, and I like to reflect a lot, and I read a lot and study and all the rest of it. But I think it's a nice place this for us all to kind of just share that stuff a bit, really, and then try and make sense of some of these things.
And it'll be interesting to have, people messaging in, talk about their experiences. We're also going to, in future episodes, we're going to interview people.
Yeah.
People will join us from different professions, talk about their backgrounds. Whatever they do, whether they're sports people or stuntmen or whatever, we'll have them from all backgrounds talking about their background. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Right. So where do people? This sounds very professional now. Broadcasting and presenting. Where do people connect with us? I suppose, and because people can send in questions, can't they, or ideas for comments or ideas for future episodes, and sort of connect with us. We'll have the podcast will be on. We could link it in, can't we, to our Facebook pages and things like that. And
yeah, absolutely. So my counselling practice name is counsellingminds.co.uk. So email is counsellingminds@gmail.com. And yours, what's your website, Danny?
Yeah, Forte Counselling. Forte is in strength, or it's a musical term as well. Forte Counselling @gmail.com. And the Facebook page is the same. So we'll try and just interact with people best we can. And I think see what comes of it. It's kind of a learning process for us, isn't it, in terms of development, see where we go with it. And so there, right.
Looking forward to it.
Anything else? I can't think of anything else. It's all there, isn't it?
No, we've covered a lot. So just an introduction to what this is all about, and I look forward to these sessions over the next few months.
Yeah, and whatever you're doing today, everybody out there, just go and have a nice time and look after yourselves. It's sunny today. I'm looking out the window, and it's a bank holiday Monday, so I might go out and get a coffee somewhere, socially distanced, but I'm sure I'll find one. So, all right, guys, take care.
Any of you out there are working, obviously, all the best. And
absolutely. Yeah.
Take care.
All right, and I'll speak to you soon, John. All right, take it easy.
Yeah, all the best.
See you later.